When people ask me about To Thrive Together, I tell them it's about people, not cars. It's about front porches, not garages. It's about walkways, not fences. But most of all, it's about community. And by now, Bob and I have literally spent thousands of hours thinking and talking, designing, redesigning the To Thrive Together concept. To make good design decisions, we needed a litmus test, so to speak. So we based our decisions on the answer to one simple question. Is this aspect of the design going to create a place where we would want to live for the rest of our lives? You see, we're not just creating your neighborhood, we're creating our neighborhood, the place where we intend to grow old together. Bob, let's start with the concept of a pocket neighborhood because I love that term.
Jill, the term pocket neighborhood refers to a way of designing that creates a strong sense of place and a strong sense of community. It's the layout of the neighborhood itself that encourages and nurtures meaningful human relationships. If you look at the plan, all 32 homes look inward towards one another, not out at the streets filled with strangers and cars. The houses offer a blend of private and public spaces, and I've intentionally placed the buildings so that from each porch, people can see all the other porches in the entire community. Life goes on all around you. You can see it and feel its vibrancy. This community is designed to encourage walking, whether it's to a neighbor's, or to one of the gardens, or to the viewpoint overlooking the river. A parking lot is a place for cars. A community is a place for people.
But what if somebody has a mobility issue? Say they're in a wheelchair.
All the houses are accessible on the main floor. For those with mobility issues, the promenade allows for a car to deliver groceries or a person right to their door. And the interiors can be reconfigured as people's needs change over time. What might be an office or a guest room in the loft can be converted to a caregiver suite as an example.
I just want to add something about walking from the point of view of being a fitness and healthy aging specialist. We walk because we want to be able to continue walking for as long as possible for the rest of our lives. We climb stairs because we want to maintain our ability to climb stairs. I can't stress enough that at any age, challenging yourself both physically and cognitively is critically important to maintaining wellness throughout an entire lifetime. Let's talk about the gathering place, shall we?
The gathering place is where the community comes together. The upper level houses a social area for those who live in the community. As well, there is the great room, which can be used for larger social gatherings like weddings, dinners, or public events. The lower level is the educational center for classes, workshops, and other activities open to the public. It's also the location of our Build It Green showroom, a place for our corporate sponsors to showcase their products and educate the public on the latest zero-carbon technologies.
So the gathering place is really the heart of the community.
Absolutely. When you enter from the parking lot, it's right there waiting to welcome you.
To Thrive Together builds living model communities. The goal is to demonstrate to others that it's entirely possible to build green with zero carbon emissions. We also want to demonstrate to others that it's entirely possible to recreate the age-old concept of intergenerational living and make it suitable for life in the 21st century. Bob, I think we should talk more about the intergenerational aspect of the community. It's important that we make it perfectly clear to those of you watching that To Thrive Together is not a retirement community. As a matter of fact, I think we'd like to think of it as the exact opposite. We say our homes are designed for millennials right through centenarians. This is a place that encourages people of all generations to pool their talents and work together towards a common goal of dignity for both people and the earth. So for someone in their 20s, 30s, 40s, what does a To Thrive Together community have to offer them?
We are talking about people my children's age. The first attraction is stepping out of their front door into nature instead of concrete and asphalt. The idyllic rural setting is a world apart from their hectic working lives. They want a home that feels like a place of refuge. Secondly, the climate crisis is front and center in their minds. It's clear that the world is at a tipping point. It's their world and their children's world that will pay for our failure if we don't do something now. They want a lifestyle that's gentle on the planet.
I like that term, gentle. Many of us in our 60s have seen a parent swept up in our current care-for-profit system. We've witnessed their loss of independence, the loss of self-worth, and in many cases, their very dignity being stripped away from them. Those we call boomers are standing up for themselves, and they're saying, that's not going to happen to me. These people are active, healthy, full of life. They want to live in a place where they can be part of something greater than themselves. To Thrive Together offers them a chance to build a healthy, positive lifestyle and develop friendships and a community around them that will ultimately sustain them into old age. What about those in their 80s or 90s?
I think their number one focus is maintaining independence and control over their lives. They want to age in their own homes, not in an institution. They want to feel safe and secure, knowing that To Thrive Together can potentially be a home for life. Just because they're growing old doesn't mean they don't have the same basic needs as their 35-year-old neighbor. They want to make the most of the time that they have. They don't want to feel like a burden. They want to be able to put their skills and knowledge to work and feel appreciated. They want a sense of purpose.
Briefly, I'd like you to talk about building healthy and building green. Those terms are flung about in the construction industry all the time, to the point where they've become totally meaningless. It's important for people, I think, to understand exactly what we mean when we use those terms.
Let's start with healthy. I spent the last 18 months researching the safest and healthiest products that create the best possible living environment for people. Jill is holding a wall of your house. It's called CLT, or cross-laminated timber. Your house is made of solid wood, allowing it to breathe naturally. Scientific studies show that living with exposed wood and other natural materials reduces stress, enhances mental function, and can actually improve health.
There are even studies that show that patients in hospitals who can view exposed wood have more positive outcomes. And it's got a lovely scientific term. It's called biophilia, the natural instinct of humans to gravitate towards nature. So what do we mean when we use the term zero carbon? I know it's very complicated, but could you put it in a sentence or two?
Sure. Zero carbon simply means we're not taking more from the planet than we give back. It's a blend of high-tech green technologies and everyday common sense. To make it simple, let's just say electricity comes from the sun, heating and cooling comes from the earth.
One last thing before we go. People inevitably ask about the elephants on our logo.
Why the elephants, right?
Right. And the answer is simple. Because elephants care. They care for their offspring as well as their elders. And their herd is the perfect intergenerational example of how indeed we thrive together. So whether you're just curious, or you wish to support us, or you want to become a volunteer, or you want to buy a home and become a neighbor, do email us or call us. Bob or I or another board member will be delighted to answer all your questions. And we'll send you some information on how you can become an important part of this very unique project. We look forward to talking to you and making new friends.
And meeting our new neighbors.